So my question, which I wanted to ask, and sounds now a bit not really smart, but actually I have to ask this question, is that is that true that everyone thinks critically, that we
Mhm.
are born with these competencies? Because as you mentioned before, many people some kind of mix the reasoning with really clear critical thinking. But in Poland, there is pretty common myth that yes, we think all the time. So there is no special, let's say, skill competence in this. This is some kind of only new package to sell some product, but actually
Mhm.
it's so if you can briefly answer
Right.
this
Yes.
question.
The question is, don't we already think critically? Well, there's an easy answer to that. And that would be look at how humans behave, in fact, in
Mhm.
human life. We don't need studies to prove to us that our thinking can be flawed in many, many, many ways.
Yeah.
So if you understand that logical move,
Mhm.
then you realize that the question is answers itself. Of course, we don't automatically think critically. Then, if you look at anyone who's asking that, I would say for those people, if they look at their own lives honestly,
Mhm.
and we ask them, well, to what degree are you self deceived? When do you tell yourself you're being logical when you're not? When do you dominate someone else inappropriately? When do you act in a servile way to get what you want, saying one thing and meaning something else? When do you lord your power over other people? When do you fail? And if you can answer that, then you know that you don't always think critically. And if you say that I never fail, then I'm very concerned about you as a human being, because that means you're highly intellectually arrogant. You may be very smart and you may be a highly skilled professional within your field, but that tells me nothing about how you treat your family or how you treat other sentient creatures. It tells me nothing about your political views or whether you care about the common good. So
Mhm.
people often hide behind that. Well,
Yeah.
I think well at work, and so that's what matters. No, that's one domain of your life.
Yeah.
But you're not monological as a human, you're multilogical. We must be social animals because we are by nature social. And therefore, we have to connect with other humans, and we need to do so rationally. So anyone who's asking the question has obviously not studied critical thinking much at all and is not making the first earliest moves. And once you make these moves, stand on that solid ground. Don't say, well, I'm still confused about it. Well, can you think of any examples when you didn't think critically? Can you think of any examples when someone else in your family didn't? Are you reading the newspaper? Or do you have any idea of the news? I guess we don't say paper anymore, but in any case, you get the idea. So
Mhm.
often people are asking what is in essence a rhetorical question or a question they have not thought seriously about at all. And once they do, they begin to see the dominoes fall. And let me say one other thing about our natural reasoning.
Mhm.
As reasoners, we are reasoning more or less continually throughout the day. And we may reason, and this will be wrong, but I'll just give it some number. You may reason 800 times in a day, 1,200 times, 1,000 times, some number.
Mhm.
And whenever you reason, you're coming to some conclusion, potentially, or at least you're making an inference based on what someone has said, what you've read, or the situation that you're in. And your reasoning can fall on a continuum.
Mhm.
So you can be reasoning at the highest level of quality regarding that situation within that specific context, or the lowest level. are somewhere in between. So if you think of as you go through life, so here's the continuum. Right now I'm talking to my spouse. Where am I on the continuum? Am I up here at the highest over down here? Now I'm going to work. Where am I? Well, I'm staying pretty high over here at work, but actually I fell down during that meeting. You see, you're moving around in these continuums, and this is happening all day long.
Yeah.
But mainly we're not aware of these continuums, and we see ourselves now. Egocentric thinking comes in here because one of the primary manifestations of egocentric thinking is being locked within your narrow viewpoint, which is somehow problematic. Something is illogical, something is inaccurate. We would have to look at it to see exactly. There's something going wrong here, or you're just being selfish. So you see, if you're locked within your point of view, anyone who's listening, and again, anyone who's honest can say, well, I can think of a time when I was not willing to hear what someone else was saying to me. I figured that I had it all just right in my mind. I'm not listening. I'm closed. And then later I figured out I was wrong. And so hopefully later you figure out you're wrong, and then you can say, I was wrong when that happened, and I don't intend to do that again, or I need to think before I speak next time, or whatever it is that you need to admit to, at least to yourself. So you see, so reasoning is always with us. Sometimes we're reasoning well, sometimes not well. Critical thinking is essential for us to determine where we are on that continuum.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a complex answer, but I'm sure that many our viewers will understand how it goes, and that this question actually shouldn't take place. But on the very basic level, when we start with critical thinking, this is the most common question, myth about critical thinking. So that's why I had to ask you.